stupid thing. I could use it. Hey guys, tonight, this is going to be, as you can see the title, and I'm going to keep sticking to this subject because it's about order followers, oath takers. It's about that. Now, I've been going through thinking and making lists, and now this is because I've had a lot of. I've told you before. I've had a lot of friends that were in the police department, sheriff's department and stuff, and they've kind of told me the kind of training they went through. Known people that worked at the jail, the jailers, or whatever you want to call them. Not the sheriff's departments. These guys were just straight up jailers. They weren't sheriff deputies, you know. Can't remember what they called them out there. And correctional officers. But this is just something right now. Is just I'm talking about just local police departments, and that they. And I'm going to show you why I say this. They are nothing more. They're not trained to do anything more. They're not taught anything more than to order followers. They don't want somebody who's smart and's going to think for themselves. They don't want nobody like that. They straight up in the training and everything they get. They don't want critical thinking people. They don't want people who will use common sense, because a police officer does have, what do they call that? It's up to the police officer, basically. If he wants to be a dick and write you a seatbelt ticket, then he's going to be a dick and write you a seatbelt ticket. But he don't have to be a dick and write you a seatbelt ticket. He can just say, you need to put your seatbelt on and walk away. But some officers don't. That's about revenue. Or just being a dickhead. That's the truth. But let me tell you something, people. I've made a list here to show you that these officers, there's no way they get no law training. And why would somebody who had like a lawyer background, or they went to school to be a lawyer and they decided they didn't want to be a lawyer anymore? They're Janet Taylor jumped in for a bit. Hey, I see you out there, Janet. But why would somebody who would spend that kind of money going to school to be a lawyer or whatever in that kind of field decide, boom, oh, no, I'd rather just be a law enforcement officer? Don't happen, folks. Come on. Most of the law enforcement officers are brought in. They try to drag them right straight out of the military and put them right in a police car. They were broke during basic training. They were turned into order followers in basic training, and that's what the police department needs. But I'm going to give you a list here. And this is what I've been told by friends that were police officers and deputies, the kind of training they get in order to be a local law enforcement officer. Now, just so you know, they only go through 600 hours of training. That's the police academy. 600 hours, 18 weeks, or 4.5 months, whatever you want to call it. Now, this training, and I want you to listen to this list, folks, because this is all done in 4.5 months, 600 hours. Now, first thing, we're going to start with the training that's provided. They get physical training, of course. You know, they go through calisthenics and running and all that, and they learn some hand-to-hand combat training, I'm sure. They learn first aid. And I've never been through it, so I don't know what all that entails, the physical training part of it. But that's a part of it. Now, if that's just the first few days and it's wiped away, I don't know. I don't even care. But this next part is one of the bigger sections of their training, and that's because of the belt that they wear. Now, this is the weapons training. And now, not all their weapons are on their belt. Sometimes just them raising their voice in a commanding way. That is a weapon, folks. I've seen it make men cry, or not cry, but pee on themselves just because some man raised his voice. But yeah, voice commands, taking control, demanding, intimidating, all that is part of the weapons training. The first one I should have said, though, the main weapon that they are trained with is the radio. Because the radio is going to call in everybody else, going to give them a shot at trying to catch whoever else might be involved, if there's officers shooting, whatever. But the main training, that first weapon is the radio. Guarantee it. That's why they wear one on them and one in the car. Not counting the phones even. But then there's the voice commands, and then you get into your handgun. Some of them, I'm sure, get shotgun training because a lot of police cars have shotguns in them. Some of them have AR-15s in them. They get the AR-15 training. And some of them even carry fully automatic weapons, whether it might be an M16 or some other bull pump special SWAT team automatic weapon, whatever. It just depends on what you're going to go into, but you would get that training. It wouldn't be in the academy, but I'm just saying this is the kind of training a cop would go through. Body protection devices, of course, the body armor. There's different ones for different situations, all the way to helmets and everything else. But the taser, how to use the taser and when and all that. Cuffs, people. Just putting cuffs on somebody is enough to intimidate the hell out of them. Not only that, they stuff them in a back seat of a police car. Just to make it, just to intimidate them. They may not have no reason or nothing. They're not even planning on taking you to jail or nothing. They're just doing it because they're dicks. But they'll claim it's for our protection. But I've also seen them use handcuffs like a brass knuckle and beat you in the face with it. So I'm sure they're taught that too. Batons, they carry batons. You guys all know that. Flashlights. And if you don't think a flashlight's a weapon, look at the ones they carry. Mace, they got mace. They got knives, they carry knives. So, and who knows what else they carry on them. Some of them carry some weapons that if we carried them, it'd be illegal. Next thing another thing they go through a mental evaluation. How they handle stress, what's their egos like. I mean, a lot of other things, but they go through a mental evaluation, guarantee it. Background checks, they check them, criminal background, federal. Jobs, residence, they go through all this. Family members, they might check, who's in your family. They do credit checks on them, guaranteed. Hell, your job did a credit check on you. All three of the agencies, and check tax records and shit. Make sure you're all right with your tax records. And then there's some other training they move into, the requirements like the writing of tickets, how to write tickets, securing a scene like at an accident or or robbery or something. They learn how to secure a scene, helping the injured maybe at a accident or something. Filing reports, how to file police reports, how to when and how to arrest people, controlling the stop, when you pull over, controlling the situation so it doesn't get out of hand. Let's see, and the list goes on that too. They also have to go through car operations and pursuits. They get they get set. They go through all the equipment in the police car. From the radio and how to respond and how everything works in the car, the lights, the sirens, all that shit. All the equipment they carry in the trunks. Some of them carry weapons. Some of them, most of them have first aid equipment, and they carry a lot of other things. Depending on what kind of officer they are. They carry other weapons, in the trunk. They also go through something, people, and I guarantee you that this is a big part of it. It's how they use language. And they don't tell the officers how to lie to the citizenry. They make it like, this is how you do this, and you use certain words, and this is how you stay in control. I call it lies. Because if you look at somebody and say, I'm asking you for your ID, and they're wearing a badge, a gun, handcuffs, and all this, most of these people are going to just, okay, here, I'm sorry, please don't harm me, and hand them their ID. But because he used the word asking, he can claim, even if you're recording it, he can claim he didn't demand anything, he asked for it, and you gave it up. This is what I mean by they're taught this language. It's the same thing all lawyers use, politicians. It's called legalese. Believe it or not, I don't care. But I guarantee you, that is a big portion of their job and their training at the academy. How to lie to the public. How to cover your ass and use words like I'm asking. Oh, you could go to jail. You could go to jail. I could take you to jail. If you don't talk to me, I could take you to jail for it. And we can talk down there. Those kind of things. That's called intimidation. And intimidation by using the law to do it. Best thing you do is keep your mouth shut if you're talking to a cop. But then, that and I guarantee you, people, that is a major part of the training. Now, and I want to show you because I made this list, and look, this is the first page, and I've been going through reading this stuff, exactly how they wrote it down here because I wanted to follow the list. There's the second page. And if you start looking at this stuff, folks, these are the things I've already talked about. Did I talk about they got the car operations and pursuits? Yeah, how to handle pursuits and stuff. Okay, all this stuff I've been talking about right here, folks, they only get 600 hours of training. They got to learn this big old list of weapons that they carry on their hips. Don't you think they need probably 600 hours of training with the one gun? But they got all them weapons and 600 hours of training, and they got to learn how to be. They got to go through the physical training, the mental stuff, the background checks, which all that stuff ain't nothing. But when you start talking about the learning how to do, write the tickets, and even how to act in court when you go in and you're lying about your ticket you wrote, you got to know how to act in there. So you start putting this stuff together, car operations and high speed pursuits and all that. Come on. We haven't even, none of this stuff that I've talked about yet have I even mentioned the law, where they learn about the law, folks. They only get 600 hours. They got to cut the corners somewhere. The law's got to go. They don't need to know the law. Another thing, their department policies. Most officers don't seem to even know their policies. Their department policies, they don't even know that. So that can't be in the training. What else should they be being taught? The law should be one. Now, come on, folks. They ain't got enough time, 600 hours. Why do you think so many people are dying from the weapons they wear around their waists? They don't have no training with the shit. But this is the thing. And they tell them in the end, you don't need to know the law. You don't even need to know the department policies. Why? Because you have something that I call QI, qualified immunity. And you see, folks, with something I call QI, you don't need an IQ. Because you're not there to think. You're not there to use your own judgment. You're not there to do anything other than to follow orders. Sorry for your luck. But your qualified immunity, your QI, shows your IQ, because it takes your QI to cover your ass, because your IQ is very high. That's why you get QI, qualified immunity. That is my stream for tonight, folks. I'm just putting this in your face, man. I ain't putting you down. If you're a cop, be a cop. I don't care. You swore an oath. I just proved you are a order follower. You are not an oath taker and an oath keeper. Or you are an oath taker, but you are not an oath keeper. Sorry. Hate to be the one to break your bad news to you, but you should have known it by now. Well, that's it for me tonight, folks. You guys have a good one out there. Me talking to myself again. I'm just going to get that damn mirror, put this phone up. Be cheaper for me to just get a mirror out here and sit in my bar and talk to myself. You guys have a good one, but make no mistake, God loves you and so do I. And the only way out of this old mess that they started last year was through Jesus Christ. So I hope you knock on that door, because he's waiting to let you in. But it's up to you. I can't do it for you. Your family can't do it for you. It's up to you. Have a good one out there, folks. Till next time.